Alright, Nora.
Yes. I'm scared. This is like, I feel like I'm in modern studies or something like that.
So this is a history lesson, right? Obviously, have you seen the stuff that's going on right now with Palestine and Israel?
Not really.
So basically...
You don't even know yourself. You said that.
No, I know. This is... I actually know. So basically, obviously, Israel has been, hit, they've been, what's it called? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when, like...
Oh my god. You're not... You can't do this yourself.
No, let me cook. Israel has been oppressing...
What does that mean?
I don't know. But, no, listen. I know it. Oppressing, like, basically what oppressing means is, like, when a group of people punish another group of people for a long time. Not punish, but, like, hurt a group of people for a long time.
Okay.
So the person's been oppressed.
Okay.
Right. So...
Okay.
But Israel has been oppressing Palestine for a long time, for like hundreds of years, right? Right? Or 100 years. And basically now Palestine's retaliated by this terrorist group. Well, they call it terrorist group.
Yeah, can't they
Hamas.
they can't go to school. They can't. They have to
Palestine can't go to school and all this thing and all this stuff. And now, Hamas, the group that's in Palestine, want to have invaded Israel and stuff.
That's a bit mean. Why can they not go to school?
No, this is Palestine.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to invade Israel.
Well, so which one's the bad people?
No, Israel. Israel are the bad people. I support Palestine.
Okay, I support them too.
Woo! Well, you just done the wrong one. Right.
A handshake.
You better support
Very cool. We need to make a new one.
We'll probably get cancelled though, because apparently Israel are the
One of the biggest myths about the Israel-Palestine conflict
apparently
is
are the
that it's
favorites,
been
but
going
there's
on
no-
for centuries,
what
all
the media
about
wants.
ancient religious
So let's hear this.
In fact, while religion is involved, conflict's mostly about two groups of people who claim the same land. And it really only goes back about a century to the early
Ask me
1900s.
anything.
Around then, the region along the eastern
can't ask me
Mediterranean,
anything.
now
You
called
need to
Israel
ask me.
Palestine, then under Ottoman rule for centuries, was religiously diverse, including mostly Muslims
isn't that
and
the
Christians,
Turkish?
also small.
Pause when you speak. What'd you say?
Isn't that the
Yeah.
Turkish flag?
Well, I thought you were on about the Ottoman.
No.
Yeah, the Ottoman is Turkish. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
It was a Turkish empire.
Was
That's-
religiously diverse,
isn't that-
including mostly Muslims.
That's
and Christians,
Islam.
Also a small
I thought
number
that
of
was the
Jews who
Turkish
lived
flag.
generally in peace.
But no, it's right because
It was
Turkish
changing in
have
two
that
important
as a
ways.
symbol, so you're not wrong.
First, more people
Oh.
in the region were
That's
developing a sense of being not just ethnic Arabs, but Palestinians, a distinct national identity. At the same time, not so far away in Europe, more Jews were joining a movement called Zionism, which said that Judaism was not just a religion, but a nationality, one that deserved a nation of its own.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
No. Let me tell you. Okay, you explain it, and I can tell you.
So basically,
Zionism. Do you get the Zionism? You need to learn that one.
Zionism, isn't it like when Jews? Yeah, is Israel Jews or is it the Palestine that are Jews?
No. Israel are Jews. Israel Jews. Palestinians are Christians, Muslims, and Christian Muslims.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But I thought Israel was an Arab country.
No, it's not. It's definitely not an Arab country. It's a Middle Eastern country.
Yeah, that's what I
Is it?
meant.
I think
it's in Middle East. That's
It's in
what I
Middle-
meant.
But that doesn't mean it's an Arab country. Turkey, Iran are Middle East, but they're not Arab. Armenia probably counts as one.
Whenever I think of the country Iran, I just think of like the Iran as in the drink.
See, not a lot of people will get that one though.
Oh yeah.
No one will.
It's like
The only people that know it is
it's a yogurt drink.
It's a yogurt,
basically.
Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Oh, yeah.
Zionism, right?
What does that mean?
Basically,
What was that?
basically they think they're like the him race. Like basically they're like the best race. Yeah, and they think that is like basically they think that Judaism. Jews are Judaism is a religion, just like Islam and Christianity.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But Zionism Zionists think that Judaism, it should be an ethnicity, and it's like the all crowned ethnicity, and that's why they want to keep this Israel land where only Jews can live in there. Anyway,
After centuries of persecution,
Listen.
many believed a Jewish state was their only way of safety and saw their historic homeland in the Middle East as their best hope for establishing it. In the first decades of the 20th century, tens of thousands of European Jews moved there.
Well, it's a beautiful day here in the Cotswolds. I'm here doing some cycle training.
Wait, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. You know, they're trying to make a new religion, like where you believe in devils.
that's called Satanism.
Yeah, is that an actual religion?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And you know,
Brain deads follow that, though.
yeah, you know, like there's a new gay people are trying to mix the Bible with another thing, and it's called the Gable.
The Gable.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Twitter hashtag.
After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. British and French empires carved up the Middle East, the
Extension
British
of the
taking
Bible.
control of a region it called the British Mandate for Palestine.
Palestine
the
is
British
so
allowed-
close
This
to
is, when,
Britain.
this is when they start to move.
But as more Jews arrived, settling into farming communities,
And you know what's crazy?
It's crazy.
You know what's crazy? Palestine wanted... Palestine let the Israelis in. Palestine's... That's the thing. Palestinians, the people that are getting oppressed right now, they were the first on the land. Do you get it? That's why it's big.
tension between Jews and Arabs grew. Both sides committed acts of violence, and by the 1930s, the British began limiting Jewish immigration. In response, Jewish militias formed to fight both the local Arabs and to resist British rule. Then came the Holocaust, leading many more Jews to flee Europe for British Palestine and galvanizing much of the world in support of a Jewish state. In 1947, as sectarian violence between Jews and Arabs there grew,
Stop!
the
You're
United
doing
Nations approved
this.
a plan to divide British Palestine into two separate states.
He literally just
One for
got you, so
Jews,
shut up.
Israel, and one for Arabs, Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, where Jews, Muslims, and Christians all had holy sites,
Jerusalem.
was to become a special
You know where
international
Jerusalem is?
zone.
It's in the
The
Palestine.
plan was meant to give Jews a state,
Oh, well
to
done.
establish
Oh,
Palestinian
Palestinian.
independence, and to end the sectarian violence that the British could no longer control. But the Jews accepted the plan, and they declared independence as Israel. But Arabs throughout the region saw the UN plan as just more European colonialism
There we go.
trying to steal their land. Many of the Arab states, who had just recently won independence themselves, declared war on Israel in an effort to establish a unified Arab
only I was
Palestine
there.
where all of British
Yeah,
Palestine
only I
had been.
kind of use my feet.
The new state of Israel won the war. But in the
Kicking
process, they
physical
pushed well
violence.
past their borders
Illegal.
under the UN plan.
What is that? Is that like
Western half
Earth
of
Part 2?
Jerusalem, And much of the
What?
land that was
That is Earth, you idiot.
Yeah, I know, but it's like...
it's the same color. As
Why is it like that color?
It's because it's warm, mate.
Yeah, but there's green as well. It's just
Yeah,
like fungus.
That's called grass, right?
who had been part of
Yeah,
Palestine.
Earth Part 2.
They also expelled
Yeah, maybe
huge
that
numbers
is
of
the year.
Palestinians from their homes,
Oh, you don't get
creating a
me.
massive refugee population
Ooh,
whose
Syria's
descendants
there.
today number about 7 million.
Trans Jordan, is this
At the end of
Jordan
the war-
that's transgender?
Laura, you're unhinged. You need to stop. This is Jordan but transgender. It's crazy.
Or is there a guy in...
But,
Or is there a trans
Guys,
guy
guys,
that's called Jordan?
guys, well, I don't teach her this.
It's just my school. Oh, for
What,
goodness sake.
let me do it. Alright.
Israel controlled all of the
Why did you press
territory
K?
except for Gaza,
That's the
which
best
Egypt controlled, and the West Bank.
Gaza.
So now
which
Palestine's
was
just
west of the
Gaza,
Jordan
by the way,
River,
basically.
which Jordan controlled.
Ooh.
This was the beginning of
Back
the
then,
decades-long
like 60 years ago,
During this period,
Palestine had all
many
of
Jews in
Palestine,
Arab
Jerusalem,
majority
everything.
countries
But
fled
now
or were
the
expelled,
Jews came
arriving in
in, and
Israel.
now it's all.
Then something happened
only
to
Gaza.
transform the conflict. In 1967, Israel and the neighboring Arab states fought another war. When it ended, Israel had seized the Golan Heights
Six-day
from
war, that's
Syria,
it.
the West Bank from Jordan, and both Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. Israel was now occupying the Palestinian territories,
It's all
including all
war.
of Jerusalem and
Did
its
it
holy
flood?
sites. This left Israel responsible for governing the
Oh,
Palestinians,
what?
people it had fought for decades.
What?
In 1978, Israel and Egypt signed the U.S. brokered Camp David Accords, Shortly after that,
Oh,
Israel gave
Egypt,
Sinai back to Egypt as part of the peace treaty. At the time, this was hugely controversial in the Arab
You said
world.
Hail Egypt.
Egyptian
No, I said
President
Al
Anwar
Egypt.
Sadat was assassinated in part because of outrage
What?
against it.
Yeah, someone got an
But it marked the beginning of the end of
Wait,
the
why?
wider Arab-Israeli conflict. Over the next few decades, the other Arab states gradually made peace with Israel, even if they never signed formal peace treaties. But Israel's military
Damn,
was
they
still
made peace.
occupying the Palestinian territories of the
So
West
basically,
Bank.
a lot. Oh hell no! Oh hell no! Oh hell no! So basically, all the Arab countries are making peace with Israel
In
after
Gaza.
the wars of Israel.
And this is when the
Palestine.
conflict became an Israeli-Palestinian struggle.
So now it's
The
just an
Palestinian
Israeli-Palestinian.
Liberation Organization, which had formed in the 1960s to seek a Palestinian state, fought against Israel, including through acts of terrorism. Initially, the PLO claimed all of what had been British Palestine, meaning it wanted to end the state of Israel entirely. Fighting between Israel and the PLO went on for years, even including a 1982 Israeli invasion of Lebanon to kick the group out
The
of Beirut.
stillness of the ceasefire in southern Lebanon was shattered today by the sound of guns, bombs, and planes.
The PLO later said it would accept dividing the land between Israel and Palestine, but the conflict continued. As all of this was happening, something dramatic was changing in the Israel-occupied Palestinian territories. Israelis were moving in. These people are called settlers, and they made their homes in the West Bank and Gaza, where the Palestinians
They heard
wanted
your
more
mouth
land.
open and did this.
Some moved for religious reasons, some because they want to claim the
I'm gonna
land for
sit this, and
Israel.
then you can't do
Some
anything.
because housing is cheap
Political?
and subsidized
I know
by the
that.
Israeli government. Some settlements are cities with thousands of people, others are small
See, dude, that's crazy
communities
because
deep into the
political and
West Bank.
stuff.
If you've always felt a deep yearning for Jerusalem, now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity not only to stand within its gates, but also to build the home of your dreams there.
Settlers were followed by
Yeah, I
soldiers to
think so.
guard them.
It's an
The
advert
growing
for
settlement
people to
forced
come to Israel.
Palestinians off of their land and divide communities.
Yeah.
Short term, they make the occupation much more painful for Palestinians. Long term, by dividing up Palestinian land, they make it much more difficult for the Palestinians to ever have an independent state.
Yeah.
Today, there are several 100,000 settlers in occupied territory, even though the international community considers them illegal. But
Look at that. Look how much is increased. These are Israeli settlers coming. Increasing every single year. See that? You get it, Jay?
Yeah.
late 1980s,
Why is it?
Palestinian frustration
people coming in.
exploded into the Intifada, which is the Arabic word
What
for
does that mean?
uprising.
More land for the Israelis.
It
Exactly.
began with mostly protests and boycotts, but soon became violent. Israel responded
stop.
with heavy force. A couple hundred Israelis, over 1,000 Palestinians died in the first Intifada.
It's so sad, man.
Around the same time, a group of Palestinians in Gaza, who considered the PLO too secular, too compromise-minded, created Hamas, a violent extremist
This is
group
what I'm talking
dedicated to Israel's destruction. By the early 1990s, it's clear that Israelis and Palestinians have to make peace. The leaders from both sides signed the Oslo Accords. This is meant to be the big first step toward Israel maybe someday withdrawing from the Palestinian territories and allowing an independent Palestine. The Oslo Accords established the Palestinian Authority, allowing Palestinians a little bit of freedom to govern themselves in certain areas.
Just a little bit.
Hardliners on both sides
See, this is
opposed
the
the
thing.
Oslo
Like, they just don't
Accords.
get enough freedom.
Members of Hamas launched suicide bombings to try to sabotage the process. The Israeli right protest peace talks
See,
with
okay,
ralliers.
it's with Hamas, right? So there's a dividing opinions on Hamas. So like so basically like a lot of people, there's a lot of sympathetic people, like me, people like this is that when Palestine do it, right, it is terrorism, right?
Mhm.
So when Hamas fights back, it's terrorism.
Mhm.
Can I have one as well?
Mhm.
Why are you having so much?
Uh,
Smint, guys. It's what the guys do, right? No? Don't the people from Thingy do that?
From Thingy? What?
Like, you know when they go like, this is this. You see this, guys? This is my new makeup tutorial. Let it focus.
No, do this. Show me. They do this and then they put their hand behind it so you can see it.
Alright. So it's like a green screen. Is it focusing, mate? Focus! What's this guy shouting?
Calling Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin a traitor and a Nazi.
Just sit up.
Wait, I was cooking. Wait a second, I was cooking. I was heating up. What was I on about again? Hamas. Alright, yeah, so basically people say that Palestine, yeah. Like me, I'm a support Palestine. I think that when Palestine does something, that's in my water by the way, so don't take it. When Palestine does something, oh, it's terrorism, they're terrorists, right? But when Israel flipping kills Palestinians like no tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, it's justice or something.
Oh my god, yeah!
It's completely.
That's like when I have an
The
argument
second
with
round of Oslo
someone.
Accords, the far-right Israeli shoots him to death in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, sure.
What
This
happened?
violence showed,
No. But
not long after Rabin signs the second round of Oslo Accords, the far-right Israeli shoots him to death in Tel Aviv.
You got shot
This
to death?
violence showed how extremists on both sides can
someone
use
from the government
violence
got
to
shot.
derail peace, keep a permanent conflict going as they seek the other
From
side's
who?
total
From
destruction.
which side?
zero.
That's a dynamic that's been around ever since. Negotiations meant to hammer out the final details on peace drag on for years, and a big Camp David summit in 2000 comes up empty. Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming, rise up in a second intifada, this one much more violent than the first. By the time it wound down a few years later, about 1,000 Israelis and 3,200 Palestinians had died. The second intifada really changes.
Look up. 3,200 Palestinians, 1,000 Israelis.
That's shabonks.
I know, literally, absolute shabonks.
The conflict. Israelis become much more skeptical that Palestinians will ever accept peace or that it's even worth trying. Israeli politics shift right, the country builds walls and checkpoints to control Palestinians' movements. They're not really trying to solve the conflict anymore, just manage it. The Palestinians are left feeling like negotiating didn't work, and violence didn't work, that they're stuck under an ever-growing occupation with no future.
They literally can't do anything.
That year,
I know.
Israel
They're
withdraws from
unemployed,
Gaza.
all of them are unemployed. Like,
Hamas gains power,
60%
but
unemployment.
splits from the Palestinian Authority in a short civil war, dividing Gaza from the West Bank. Israel puts Gaza under a suffocating blockade, and unemployment rises.
That's it.
Let me get. This is where the Palestinians live. This is Israel. And by the way, Palestinians had all of this. They came into the land like 100 years ago, and they've slowly just taken down. Right? Coming through here, just taking it. Taking everything. And now, Palestinians are just this.
Wait, so was this, you see all this blue stuff, was this used to be all them?
Yeah, it was to be all Palestinians.
This bit or this bit?
All of this was Palestinian. Palestinians lived in this land. Like, it was theirs for ages. Like, 1,000 years ago. Like, literally, they've been living there for ages. But then they came in after the war. Then Jews and Israelis came in. Jews came in after the World War II. And they took the land, basically. Because they didn't have a land. Well, because Jews never had a land. Think about all the lands.
I thought they had Germany.
What?
Germany.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were in different places like America, Germany, and all these places, right? Right. They never had an actual land to themselves, Israel. So basically, they wanted land, and they basically just stole it from another country.
40%.
Well, they took too much.
This is the state of the conflict as we know it today.
They shouldn't have taken
It's
it.
relatively new, and it's unbearable for Palestinians. In the West Bank, more and more settlements are smothering Palestinians, often respond with protests and sometimes with violence. The most just want normal lives. In Gaza, Hamas and other violent groups have periodic wars with Israel.
Yeah.
The fighting overwhelmingly kills Palestinians, including lots of civilians. In Israel itself, most people have become apathetic. For the most part, the occupation keeps the conflict relatively removed from their daily lives, with moments of brief but horrible violence. There's little political will for peace. No one really knows where the conflict, maybe a third intifada, maybe the Palestinian Authority collapses. But everyone agrees that things as they are now can't last much longer. Israel's occupation of the Palestinians is too unstable to last, and and that unless something dramatic changes, whatever comes next will be much worse.
Facts. And this is the next the thing that's came worse now is this. Now there's fighting and stuff like that. Like if I show you Palestine, this is Israel, right? 2023.
That was supposed to stop this
This is them invading.
Is that
also
Israel?
been killed
This is
in
not
this
Is-
densely
I think
populated
this is
Palestinian
Palestine.
enclave, blockaded, and
Like
nowhere
Hamas.
else to flee.
Tonight, this is as close as we can get to Gaza itself, about 5 kilometers in that direction. There is a lot of military activity, jets overhead.
This region
Anyway,
has
you get the
long
point.
been a tinderbox.
You get the point.
Oh, this is where the bomb explodes.
And once again, the flames are being fanned. Jonathan Beale, BBC News, Southern Israel.
And tonight, Israel's search and
Wait,
rescue
one thing
committee
that I've always read, you know, when
has
like
confirmed
interviewers,
that more than
right? You know when they like first start talking, they pause for like literally 15 seconds, and then they start talking. Why is that?
What do you mean? Like when do they
Like,
pause?
look.
When they pause, it's probably because they're getting ready to do it. Like they're getting ready for them to say action.
Look here.
Yeah, they're getting
And
ready
tonight
to action. All right. Well, what's Russian? Prayers for the people in Palestine. You know, you want to say it as well? Or prayers for the people in Palestine.
Sorry?
Prayers for the people in Palestine.
Palestine.